Our Wendy's male high school athlete of the week is Lenny Njoroge. We just had a huge weekend at the Joe Schrag Invitational, coming away second career victory at Topeka West for the sophomore. Finishes with a time of 16:46. Lenny, first of all, congratulations on the big win. And just overall, what were your thoughts on your performance? I know it was a pretty close race throughout. Overall, what did you think of how you did in the big win on Saturday?
It was pretty fun. I was planning it. I wasn't gonna go out as fast as I did last week, so I learned from last week's race for the week before, so I can learn from it to go this week's race. Or yeah.
I know that last year you ended up finishing 12th in the 5A state championship as a freshman, which is an incredibly impressive performance. Heading into this year, we're now just a couple weeks in. You have a win 1 week after you have a third place finish. Just overall, what were your goals coming into this season? And do you think early on this year you've met them so far?
Yeah. I've had some pretty good seasons. Last season I wasn't where I wanted to be. So this season I want to be like make it top 10 to state. Yeah, that's my goal for this season.
Do you feel like so far through these first couple of races that you're in a better place than you were? You said you had, some things you wanted to work on this year. Do you feel like you're on that right path to be a top 10 finisher at state this year?
Yeah, I'm right on the path. Yeah.
We're talking to Lenny Njoroge, who is our Wendy's male athlete of the week here on 580 WIBW. What was preparing for this season like in particular? Obviously, you had the great cross country year last year, but then the track season was canceled, of course, due to COVID-19. So without having that in the spring, and obviously the summer was so different, what was practicing for this season like for you?
This is I wanted to work harder than last season. Since I missed last year's 1 month of training, and this year I didn't want to miss any month of training. Yeah.
You're also, I should add here, a two-sport athlete. You not only are running cross country for Topeka West, but you are also playing for the Chargers soccer team as well. Can you kind of run through for us what it is like to not just play multiple sports, but to play them at the exact same time?
Some days it's pretty tough. Some days it's pretty fun. I get to do two sports that I love at the same time. It's a privilege to do that.
What is it like to try to balance the two sports? Because you have to deal with, obviously, your practice for cross country, and I know that can be grueling sometimes when you do all those different runs over the course of the week. And for soccer, obviously, there's endurance involved. What is it like to balance working out for both sports at the same time?
I have pretty good coaches who like make it easier for me, who like balance it for me, like different schedules. Like this switch every week depends on the week of the games and the meets. But it's pretty fun. I get to do sports that I love.
Lenny Njoroge is our guest for our Wendy's male athlete of the week from Topeka West cross country. The sophomore finished first at the Joe Schrag Invitational this past Saturday. And when did you develop your love for both sports? You mentioned you get to do two that you love at the same time, and I think that sounds like a dream for a lot of people. When did you start to develop your love both for distance running and for playing soccer?
I got introduced to distance running by Coach Ryan Palmer in 7th grade. I wasn't really good. I didn't know anything about running. All I used to do is just play soccer and kick the ball and all, because that's back in Kenya. That's what I love to do, play soccer. And then when I came here, coach were like, "Oh, you should try cross country. You should try track." So I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try it." And then before you know it, I got into it. I loved it.
I'm glad you brought up your home country of Kenya because we were going to get into that next. When you were 12 years old, you moved from Kenya to the U.S. Tell me a little bit about what the just transition has been like moving halfway around the world, first of all, just a couple years ago. But secondly, how have you adjusted to life in the U.S. over the past few years?
The first couple of months were pretty hard because my mom didn't come with me, so I started to miss her. And then my dad's try to make me comfortable in the U.S., taking me to different cities and taking me to different events, so I can try to be comfortable in the U.S. And then the winter came around. I was like, "Oh, this is too cold," and then that's how it all went.
So I have to ask then, because in Kansas, we know how cold and how windy the winter can get. What is a winter like where you're from in Kenya?
Oh, winter like in Kenya is like a 60s here. It's like the 60s over here.
And
Yeah.
you also mentioned that you got to travel and your dad took you to a bunch of different places in the US to try to make you more comfortable with being here. What are some of the places you've gotten to see in the last couple of years? And outside of Topeka, of course, do you have a favorite place that you've gotten to see?
Yeah, I went to Washington to visit my dad's cousin, so that was pretty fun. And then I went to Utah to visit the mountains and the beaches and all that, and California too.
Awesome. As we were talking to Lenny Njoroge, who won the Joe Schrag Invitational for Topeka West this past Saturday. The sophomore finished with a time of 16:46. And Lenny, looking ahead, I know you've still got plenty of the cross country season, plenty of the soccer season. What are you trying to accomplish over the next several weeks and the next couple of months throughout the rest of your fall seasons?
Just my plan is just to work hard and keep going.
I know we mentioned your goals coming into the year for cross country, so we'd be remiss if we didn't ask, what were you looking for on the soccer side of things too? We talked about how difficult it can be to balance the two of them. Well, what is it, what were your plans for the soccer season this year?
Oh, this year is just try to make the all state or the league, and be a starter.
All state hopes in both cross country and soccer. Lenny Njoroge is our Wendy's High School Male Athlete of the Week. The sophomore for Topeka West cross country wins the Joe Schrag Invitational at home at Kansas Park this past Saturday with a time of 16:46. Lenny, thank you so much and good luck in both of your seasons the rest of this fall.
Thank you.